Hello, sweet toddler friends. Miss Garnet here, and I am back with my cat Figaro by popular demand from Gwen and Russ. They wanted to see him again, and he likes to snuggle with me on this chair. So I know he's a little dark. As we start to read, he might start blending in with the furniture, but wanted you to know he's here with us today, and he is going to read with us another Eric Carle book, and this one is A House for Hermit Crab. So now we're gonna start reading A House for Hermit Crab. Okay, so here's our picture. Can you see the fish? And there's Figgy. Here we go. Garnet's gonna try to block that light. Okay. Time to move, said Hermit Crab one day in January. I've grown too big for this little shell. He had felt safe and snug in his shell, but now it was too snug. Hermit Crab stepped out of the shell and onto the floor of the ocean. But it was frightening out in the open sea without a shell to hide in. What if a big fish comes along and attacks me, he thought. I must find a new house soon. And there you can see the hermit crab in his little shell that he has. So here, try to move so you can see the pictures. Early in February, Hermit Crab found just the house he was looking for. It was a big shell and strong. He moved right in, wiggling and waggling about inside in to see how it felt. It felt just right. But it looked so plain, thought Hermit Crab. Think that shell looks a little plain for him? Not sure. In March, Hermit Crab met some sea anemones. They swayed gently back and forth in the water. How beautiful you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come and live on my house? It is so plain it needs you. I'll come, whispered a small sea anemone. Gently, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claws and put it on his shell. So isn't that cool? It's on top of his shell up there. It looks like a flower. In April, Hermit Crab passed a flock of starfish moving slowly along the sea floor. How handsome you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to decorate my house? I would, signaled a little sea star. Carefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his house. So now he's gonna have one of those beautiful starfish. In May, Hermit Crab discovered some coral. They were hard and didn't move. How pretty you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to help make my house more beautiful? I would, creaked a crusty coral. Gingerly, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claws and placed it on his shell. Sorry guys, these pages are sticking. In June, Hermit Crab came to a group of snails crawling over a rock on the ocean floor. They grazed as they went, picking up algae and bits of debris and leaving a neat path behind them. How tidy and hardworking you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come help clean my house? I would, offered one of the snails. Happily, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. So look, now he has 3 things on there. So beautiful. In July, Hermit Crab came upon several sea urchins. They had sharp, prickly needles. How fierce you look, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to protect my house? I would, answered a spiky sea urchin. Gratefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it near his shell. So it's getting even more colorful. In August, Hermit Crab and his friends wandered into a forest of seaweed. So dark in there, thought Hermit Crab. How dim it is, murmured the sea anemone. How gloomy it is, whispered the starfish. How murky it is, complained the coral. I can't see, said the snail. It's like a nightmare, cried the sea urchin. Look how dark that is. I can see why they're scared. So in September, Hermit Crab spotted a school of lanternfish darting through the dark water. "How bright you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to light up our house?" "I would," replied one lanternfish, and it swam over near the shell. So how cool are those fish that light up? They're gonna come and live with him and make a light. In October, Hermit Crab approached a pile of smooth pebbles. "How sturdy you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would you mind if I rearranged you?" "Not at all," answered the pebbles. Hermit Crab picked him up with his claw and built a wall around his shell. "Now my house is perfect," cheered Hermit Crab. What do you think? I think that looks pretty cool. Okay, so now we're in November. But in November, Hermit Crab felt that his shell seemed a little too small. Little by little, over the year, Hermit Crab had grown. Soon he would have to find another big home. But he had come to love his friends, the sea anemone, the starfish, the coral, the sea urchin, the snail, the lanternfish, and even the smooth pebbles. "They have been so good to me," said Hermit Crab. "They are like a family. How can I leave?" So there you can see they're all together. In December, a smaller hermit crab passed by. "I have outgrown my shell," she said. "Would you know of a place for me?" "I have outgrown my house too," answered Hermit Crab. "I must move on. You are welcome to live here, but you must promise to be good to my friends." "I promise," said the little crab. How wonderful! The following January, Hermit Crab stepped out of the little crab moved in. "Couldn't stay in that little shell forever," said Hermit Crab as he waved goodbye. The ocean floor looked wider than he had remembered, but Hermit Crab wasn't afraid. Soon he spied the perfect house, a big empty shell. It looked a little plain, but... Sponges, he thought. Barnacles, clownfish, sand dollars, electric eels. Oh, there are so many possibilities. I just can't wait to get started. And that is the story of Our Hermit Crab by Carle. And I hope you enjoyed that book, and I hope you enjoyed seeing Figgy. I'm not sure he went, but maybe I'll have my dog Luna join us next time. Good night.